like that.
Oh,
She's,
yeah?
she's all about trees.
What kind of trees?
I have no idea.
Yeah, no,
Cal.
okay, we'll see you later.
So many of us love to garden, and today we're going to be talking about the big boys, the trees in our garden, particularly the shade trees. Which are the best type for your home and how affordable are they? Well, joining me now is JJ Jimenez, who is with Porticare up in Broward County. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Today we're going to talk about one of God's most beautiful creations. That will be shade trees.
Right, and you brought a few specimens with you. What do we have over here?
This one just fall on me.
Oh, that's the familiar one to almost all of us, the ficus tree, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that a good tree to begin with?
I will never recommend the ficus tree.
Wow, why?
Ficus trees, they have a lot of problems with roots, and people call and ask, how close should I plant this tree from my house?
Right.
If it's my house, I would plant this one about half a mile away.
All right, you know what we ought to do with this tree?
Dump it.
Get rid of it. How about this one?
This is a live oak tree. This is a very nice, very beautiful tree.
And a lot of the communities are planting those in the swales, aren't they?
Absolutely.
So you like the oak?
Definitely. You can see. My first recommendation will be when you want to plant a shade tree in your house.
Yeah.
Go to a park or to a botanical garden and
See what they have.
see what how they're gonna look 20 years from now.
Good point.
So you know how big the tree is gonna be, how big the canopy is gonna be.
But this is like a starter tree, so if you
This
just
is-
moved into a new house,
This
for
is
instance.
exactly when you want to plant a new shade tree in your house. This
Perfect.
is an excellent tree. It's a very durable and reliable tree, and it grows beautifully here in South
JJ,
Florida.
how much does something like this cost?
A tree this size will run you very close to perhaps $90, $100.
That's what I figured.
See, what it is now with all the state regulations and standards and
Right.
competition between nurseries, this is probably the best time to buy a shade tree.
Really, in the summertime?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because not only in the summertime, but the last 20 years we have all these trees. Now here
Is
we got
another
a
ficus?
gumbo limbo.
Oh, gumbo limbo.
This is a tree that is very common here in Florida. Beautiful too, and when it gets older, the bark starts turning brown.
Oh.
So you not only get the color from the leaves, you can also have these beautiful brown colors on the trunk of the tree.
How big does this get, like say in a
This
year?
one will get pretty big. It will be probably about a 40-foot tree and height and about another 35 feet in
Wow.
diameter.
I have this in my yard. What is this?
It's a Royal Ponciana. Royal Poncianas are beautiful.
Yes,
and
it
over
is.
all this time of the year, they start blooming.
Yeah.
And they come with this beautiful red
The
and
red,
orange
beautiful
flowers.
Yeah.
And it gives you tons of shade.
Yeah, it does.
They are absolutely breathtaking to me. They're
They are.
one of
And
the most beautiful trees here in Florida.
Is this a little bit more expensive than the ones you showed us?
No, actually, they all will run for just about the same price. This one probably will be even cheaper than the ones
Really?
before. Absolutely.
Okay, moving down. I'm really getting an education. I know you are too. What's this?
Here is a mahogany. Mahoganies are very common trees. They're native from Florida, and they do very well here in the state of Florida. But before you even plant one of these trees in your house, there is some considerations that you have to have. For example, like I said, the size of the tree, how big it's going to be. You eventually will not want to have any problems with
Roots.
the tree.
Right.
Not only the root, but also the branches can extend all the way to your roof and
Right.
damage your shingles and your gutters.
Right.
The roots can damage your driveway, can damage your septic tanks.
Right. You can also damage your checkbook, particularly if you need to get those things
Absolutely.
trimmed.
I mean, they can be a very comforting thing to have in your house, but they can also become a terrible nightmare.
And I guess what we should tell everybody, JJ, that is before you cut down any shade trees in your particular community, check with your community to make sure that they have regulations on the book that says, for instance, if you take down a tree, you have to get a permit. Sometimes you have to replace them with so many. So always check, right?
The state, the county, and your city will have regulations on how to prune a tree, how to trim a tree, and basically, when you buy a new tree, there is a few things that you have to have in consideration. The first thing is the trunk, to me.
Okay.
There's something called the taper of the tree. Is how this diameter start going down and reducing, going all the way up. And you see this, for example, this is one whole dominant trunk that goes all the way up.
Right.
This is a beautiful tree with a beautiful taper. The caliper down here is very nice compared to the one on top. There is no secondary trunks. It's just
Right.
pure branches. It's one wonderful tree.
Well, if you have any questions, this is the man to ask, or your local gardener. But let me ask you about where your shop is located, Horticare.
We are in Plantation. You can reach me at 954-452-3369.
And what's your address?
And the address is 1320 Southwest 82nd Terrace.
JJ, thank you for coming on.
Well, my pleasure. Anytime you need me, just call me. If anyone has any questions, please call me.
And I will say that his bark is not worse than his bite. Back to you.
All right. Thanks a lot, Kelly. She's a pretty shady character.